playing Mario Kart for me, like original Super Nintendo Mario Kart is like that, where it's like I used to love this game. What happened?
Right?
Yeah. Anyways, we're
I
live now on
started up.
stream. So thanks for everyone who's joining us. I'm Eric from Goblins and Gambles. This is Chili Chats with Eric. Today I have Nick from Non-Standard Action Twitch channel, podcast. So thanks so much, Nick, for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm Nick. I'm gender agnostic, whatever pronouns. And I currently play in both shows over on Non-Standard Action, our Sunday morning Fly Free or Die, and our Thursday night Rise of the Star Lords. Both these are Starfinder shows right now. Um, yeah.
It's called
But
Rise of the Star
I've
Lord.
played. Yes, it's Rise of the Star
That's
Lords because it's
amazing.
a Rise of the it's Rise of the Rune Lords converted for Starfinder.
Did you guys convert it yourself or?
Yes, our GM is converting it as we go, and we're in book 3, 4, I want to say.
That's amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I gotta check this out. Which season is that on your guys' podcast?
that's series 3.
Okay, I'm gonna start listening to series 3 because that sounds
Yeah,
flipping
series
awesome.
3 is Star Lords.
Wow, I've never
It's
played.
running
I've never.
concurrently with Fly Free or Die right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great fun. Jet has done a really good job of converting it.
There-
I've run Rise of the Rune Lords 1.5
Okay.
times. So I kind of sit back. I'm playing a very quiet, smart mechanic, to sort of let the other players shine and not give away too much of the plot. It really makes. I've really realized as Jet's running it how much Paizo has changed since those early days.
Yeah, there's been
Rise
a
of the
lot.
Rune Lords is brutal.
Is it like very lethal?
It's lethal and it's like gory. It's really gory in a way that the
Really?
new campaigns are not. Have you ever played Rise of the Rune Lords?
I haven't. I've only played Curse of the Crimson Throne and then a few modules since then. But I ran a group through Curse of the Crimson Throne like 10 years ago. I loved it. I didn't find a ton of gore in that one. But I mean, like, I know like Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft is a big influence on Paizo, so I'm not surprised to see some of that action in there and stuff. And the way that they like describe ogres and stuff that I've read about and stuff, I'm not surprised that some of their stuff was a bit. But I feel like
Yeah, it's got some of that old 3-5 kind of like, oh
Yeah.
God, what have we found going on in
yeah,
Rise of the Rune Lords?
what's this terrible
So,
stuff happening here?
this is terrible, terrible stuff. Yeah. The Crimson Throne is great though. That whole
Yes,
storyline is delightful.
there's a big part of me that wants to run it again, just because like I feel like I would do such a better job now with like how much better of a DM I am than I was 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
There's so much you could flesh out in that story in Corvosa. I have a huge soft spot in my heart for Corvosa. I love that city, and I love that whole AP. But I would love to run it again. I feel like I could do it much better justice this time. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
That's sort of always the way with the things we've run years and years ago.
yeah, yeah.
I was mine is always Masks of Nyarlathotep from Chaosium for Call of Cthulhu. It's like, man, if I could run that again, I could do so much better now
Yeah,
than I did when I
Like-
first ran it.
I know the rules better. I know all this stuff so much better now. Like, if I could just go back in time. Because like trying to
Right?
find the time for like a new game, like taking on a new endeavor like that now is like,
Right. Playing tabletop games as a grown up.
Yes.
Oh God,
Yeah.
why does everyone have schedules?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to play for like 8 hours a day anymore. We get to like 3 hours and everyone's like, can we
Yes.
go home?
Yeah.
I'm tired.
That's why we play online too, because like you can play later because like your commute home isn't as far.
Right? Right?
Yeah, being an
And you don't have
adult
to
in
draw
gaming.
maps. I think that's the best part of playing online. Is not having to draw the maps.
I love drawing maps. This is the thing. So I I plan on running players through Carrion Hill soon. Hopefully one day. I hate that the maps that you get in the book are like have like the secret doors and stuff marked on them. So I've redrawn all the maps for Carrion Crown for like when I end up running this, just because like
Nice.
I wanted to hide stuff, and I also like don't like some of the setup of the maps. So I change things too, but I'm ridiculous. I just like drawing maps. It's a lot of fun to me. It's a very like relaxing endeavor for me. So I love
Yeah, I
drawing
always
maps.
want to just show them the beautiful maps in the book.
Yeah,
I get way too meticulous about getting it exactly right.
yeah. I mean, when I was playing Curse of the Crimson Throne, though, like, we played at the college that we all were attending at the time. I would just book a room because I was like a work study student, so I was able to like book rooms for myself as a employee of the college. So I would just draw the maps up on the whiteboard. Sometimes I would do like use the projector in the classroom too, which is kind of fun. But that's how we ran through all of Curse of the Crimson Throne, and like I kind of miss it because it's like I used to like always throw up the damage that the monster would receive up on. So when they were doing a boss, and they're like, I do 12 damage, and I just like take 5 off of his health, and they all go, "Oh, he must have damage reduction." And it was like a really fun thing to like have everyone be part of and help keep track of it and stuff. It was fun, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did that a little bit on Roll20. I don't let them see how many hit points the boss has, but I let him see the bars now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because I'm running Extinction Curse, not on stream. You can't watch that one. That's just our, kick back at the end of the week and relax game.
Yeah, because like you can be a little bit more free when you're not recording it. Like we were talking about this before the stream, like how recorded games are so different than non-recorded games. So it's kind of nice. I kind of want to have a non-recorded game at this point. Actually, I kind of want to try to find another group. But but where do I find the time? Like life gets in the way.
Yeah, it's true. I have enough games right now that I'm just sort of waiting for a couple of them to end before I start any new projects. So it's just, the pandemic hit and I was home all the time. Like, I totally have time for a game every single night of the week.
If I did that, my wife would divorce me. She would just flat out divorce me.
I'm lucky to have a very understanding boyfriend who is in 2 of them, so.
Yeah, she won't play, and it's very upsetting. It's just come play. Come on. It's fun.
Please. We'll have a great time.
Yeah.
You tell her you can have a grand sweeping romance.
Right.
It's very fun.
And it doesn't even have to be with me.
Or characters who drive each other insane.
It can be with someone else. It doesn't even matter. It's just for fun. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Come on, it'll be a good time.
Yeah. I try, and she just won't do it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
You'll just have to, you'll have to teach the little.
We have actually. I've run her through a couple scenarios, and it's really fun. I just do like a really
nice.
I do like a really simplistic version of Monster of the Week almost, where like there's like failures mixed and success, and she usually succeeds. Like I make the failure, you have to like roll 5 or under to fail, and it's fun too because like I'll draw out pictures of the monsters and I'll have them. I like hold them in my hand and bring them closer to her. It's like, this thing's coming at you. What are you gonna do? And she like throws the dice at me. She gets really excited.
No!
It's really funny. And like my nephew will play with us too, and he's 9, so like they'll both play together with me, and it's really fun. They had a good time. He actually asked to do another one, so I gotta plan another one for them soon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Magical Kittens one that Kickstarted last year or the year before, specifically for that age group?
That's amazing.
I'll have to find it and send you a link. I promptly linked my sister because we've been grooming my niece since she was very small. She was about 3. She got giant plush and started getting giant plush dice and getting to play the familiars at the table and things like that. So
that's what I gotta get next, is like big dice that she can throw around. I think that's the next present for her. I think she really
you can order them on Amazon. They're not weighted properly, mind you.
That's fine.
But they are tons of fun. My niece is trying to convince everyone in her kindergarten class to start a with her.
Yeah, I mean that's how I started. It wasn't kindergarten; it was grade 8. But like that's how I started playing. I just got some people at school to join my game. Just what you do.
Yeah. Mine was youth group, actually.
Oh, really?
My one of my friends from youth group actually went on vacation like to the East Coast with his mom, and he comes back with this book. The it's Wizards of the Coast's D20 Call of Cthulhu that came out in the mid 2000s and
Jeez.
early 2000s. Uh,
A church
and he's
church
like, guys, I found this book.
a church kid introduced you guys to Call of Cthulhu. That's impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Episcopalians.
yeah.
We're Catholic.
You guys are crazy.
It's true. Um, and yeah, so we started playing that, and about a year in, I think, someone went, we should probably play D&D. Like, that's what everybody thinks we're playing. We
Yes.
should probably try
Right?
some D&D. Like, none of us have actually played it.
Yeah.
Um, and so we played one session. Well, I think it was 3-5 at the time. And the villagers were like, rescue our unicorn, heroic
Yeah.
adventurers. We go out, we rescue their unicorn, we bring it back to the village. Like, oh, the real reward was the friends you made along the way. We're like, we killed our unicorn.
Yes.
And the unicorn slaughtered all of our characters.
No
because
way.
of course, being Call of Cthulhu players, we didn't think that unicorns like
Yeah.
could own you, which would level 1 characters, don't fight a unicorn.
No.
You're gonna die. They will just slaughter you. They're
But
terrifying monstrosities.
I would have done the
3-5.
same thing if like I don't know, I would have done the same thing as you guys. I would have attacked that unicorn, especially like teenager Eric. He
Yeah.
would have done that.
Yeah.
Uh
So we were like 14,
yes. Yeah.
It seemed the right thing to do. And then we proceeded to never play D&D again.
Yeah, it's been years since I've played like I've played some 5th edition recently. That's because my buddy Liam in our podcast has got me into it, but like I played some actual D&D probably it was probably 3.5 rules, maybe 3 even. I don't even remember. My cousin was the DM. I was in high school, but I didn't play since then. I played Pathfinder. Like Pathfinder was my thing for a long time. Like I played with all through college, but actual Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, I totally skipped 4th edition. Probably most of 3.5.
We tried one campaign in 4th edition, and one of my high school friends tried to burn the city down.
Yeah.
And then we were done with that. We discovered Pathfinder, and
Yeah.
it's all been Paizo from there.
I'm glad that like my murder hobo days are like pretty much behind me at this point. Like I'm not interested in doing a murder hobo storyline anymore. Whereas like young me was okay with it as a DM usually, but like all my friends were into murder hoboing too, and that was the way to do it. I feel like
I mean, that's what you did, right?
yeah, it's what you did. Like especially back then, like I wasn't into the internet really in the regards of I was into Homestar Runner. I wasn't into D&D internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't like tapped into the community like I am more so now. Like I'm on Twitter and stuff, and I go on Reddit and I read stuff about Pathfinder. So like I feel like I'm more aware of the community and what people are doing at large, whereas back then I wasn't. So like I don't know, murder hobo was fun back in the day. It's just what you did as a young kid. And now it's like, oh wow, I can actually tell cool stories.
Yeah, I want to explore this cool theme.
Yeah.
I feel like our Call of Cthulhu GM in high school was trying to do a bit of that, and we were being, we're gonna murder your mythos things, and he's like, no, you're not.
Not in Call of Cthulhu.
No, it was mostly run away.
Yeah.
He
sure
showed
die
us.
easy in that one.
You do. It's true. Leif, Non-Standard Action, keeps saying that they're gonna run another Call of Cthulhu one-shot for us. And I have his recurring character in their one-shots.
Yeah.
Hazel just dies every time. But she's a great plot device, because she always goes and looks. And then she ends up dead.
Yeah.
And then I have a backup character.
But like that's what Cthulhu is all about, is like dying. Because like everything in the world can like kill you very quickly. It's just the way that game is. I know I've played one game of Cthulhu. It was just a one shot. I think two of us survived out of like 5 players, and I had my arm ripped off. The other guy survived fine, but I had my arm ripped off. I'm like, I got off light. I think I was crazy, and arm ripped off. I'm like, I did it good. We succeeded. Yeah. We stopped the big demon, and that's good enough for me.
The world didn't end.
The world didn't end. We did good.
Victory is ours.
Yeah. That's all you can really ask for in Cthulhu. The fact that one guy like survived completely was impressive. Like, how did you do
somebody
that?
survived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, we don't completely suck. Like, yeah, the world didn't end. We did our part.
Yeah. What are you doing? They've definitely in some of the few times I've read campaigns for Call of Cthulhu, I'm like, well, you gave up and went home. A year later, the world ends.
Yeah.
Sorry, nerds. You're like, wait, what?
I don't know how people do a campaign in that system because of how easy you die. Like, how do you get through a campaign? Do you just have 50 characters each or something? Like, holy shit.
Slow burn.
Yeah.
And they start getting spells and going insane.
That's pretty cool. That's such a...
They spend a lot of time running from the government.
Yeah. Like, the whole sanity aspect of Cthulhu is, like, such a good idea. The fact that these things are, like, driving you crazy is just, I don't know, it's just really cool.
It's a lot of fun to play with. It's totally different from our classic, like, the Paizo systems we play, you know. In Starfinder and Pathfinder, the characters are generally heroes. You know, they can take anything that comes at them.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it takes a different group of players to do something like Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I mean, Monster of the Week's kind of like that too. Like, you have to be like smart about your combats in that too. Like, you can't just run in because like the monsters have to have a weakness to die, like that type of thing. So you have to be really smart. You can't just like face down the main monster and survive. It's just not possible.
Yeah, you can't just go in swinging a big sword and hope for the best.
Gotta have some weird, crazy plan to go beat it. Yeah,
and you have to hope, and you have to convince your GM to buy into your plan.
Yes, but that's where the whole like the keeper mentality of like be fans of your players, like let them do what they're gonna do. Like that's where that comes in. So as a GM, you have to play it differently. You have to let them do the crazy bonker things. And I think I always try to approach it like it's a TV show. So I try to think about like scenes and switching so like TV shows, and it that helps a lot with playing that game. I find when you're like, okay, this is Supernatural, this is Buffy, this is so like what would a TV show do right now? So like, and I'm really lucky because like my players will like willingly split the party. It's the only game we'll split the party in. Any other game like Pathfinder, like they don't split ever. But in this, they're really good about breaking off into like right now. There's three hunters, so like they usually break off in a team of 2 and a team of 1, and they do a good job of changing up who's the single guy, right? So it's good. So it puts themselves in danger, and like switching between the scenes is a lot of fun. Like, where it's like where you get to a point where there's like tension building, or like there's something suspenseful kind of happening to them. It's like, all right, we're gonna stop there. I'm gonna jump over to the other guy and see what he's doing right now, just like a TV show would do, like for a commercial break or whatever. It's fun. It's fun to like, do all that planning.
Ooh, it is. I think, and I think that things like Monster of the Week and Fate like really have great advice like that for GMs.
Yeah.
You know, like be fans of your players, and like, you know, don't one of the big ones from Fate is like make failure interesting. If it's not interesting if they fail, don't give them a chance to fail.
Yeah.
Let them do it.
That's a big thing. I've seen people talk about Twitter and stuff like that. Like, stop having it be a binary thing. Like having failing be a binary thing. Like if they fail a skill check, like say like the example I saw a guy was like they have to jump from like a wagon to another wagon to like keep the story going, to keep the combat going. Well, like I mean, most people be like, oh, you rolled a 2, you fall and you go under the wheels of the wagon. It's like don't have that as an option. Have like the worst they can do is they jump over and grab on and their legs are dragging. That's the worst they could do. And it's like really changing your mentality of like, trying to keep the story going and not giving those hard ends is very. It's much more fun for everybody. I like. It really opened me up. Like as I said, like I don't think I'm glad I'm learning all this stuff. I'm becoming some sort of a better GM. That like I wasn't 10 years ago. I was. I don't know. Did you ever have a feeling like there was like an invisible referee back in the day, like telling you like, no, this is how you have to play the game? I always had that.
Oh no, you have to follow all the rules. Exactly. Follow the rules.
Yeah, like you don't get to decide that your guy is 6'4". You have to roll on this random table to find out. Like I had that mentality. It's like no, I don't.
It's the second edition mentality.
Yes. It's like, well, I don't know how old your character is. We got to roll to find out. No.
Yeah, we do. roll 3d6 for every stat. You have to do them in order. Yeah,
and if I let you
build a character,
if I let you cheat, the invisible referee is going to come and scold me. We can't have that. So like,
no, we'd be playing it wrong.
Yes,
it would be bad.
We'd be playing it wrong, and people would know we're playing it wrong.
Who's gonna know that we're playing it wrong?
Know?
I mean, now everyone will know we're playing it wrong because we broadcast it to the world.
We have. But banishing that invisible referee, I think it's taken me years to do it, but I've finally done it, and it's made my games better. Like, it's a huge improvement for everyone involved. Listener, friends, everyone. It's just much better. So much more fun.
It is. I've really been enjoying running Pathfinder 2 because it just makes it so much easier to say yes to all the crazy things your players want to do.
Yeah.
It's such a joy to run.
It
so
is.
Streamlined.
Are you guys doing, for Pathfinder, have you switched to second edition yet, or are you still on first?
We've switched to second edition. We don't have any broadcast games yet.
My buddy Liam keeps saying I gotta play second. Like I played a little bit of second. Like I did some of the play test, which I thought was really well done. I really enjoyed the play test. I highly recommend it to anyone that wants to look at second edition.
Yeah, it's so well streamlined. Like I said, I've been running Extinction Curse, and they're on book 5. They're like halfway through the 5th
already.
Book.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's intense.
And one of the things I'm really good at that my players love is they can count on. If I run a Paizo AP, it's going to take about 6 months every time.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm really good at keeping players on track. You know, I come from a theater background and then a journalism background. Yeah. I'm good at wrangling creative people to all move in the same direction.
That's a hard thing to do. Like I've done some like community theater and stuff like that. That can be very tough.
Yeah. Directing classes are very helpful if you want to be a good GM.
Improv, directing, I don't know, just so much stuff. Some Excel skills really come in handy.
Yeah. Especially if you want to do society stuff.
Yeah.
I use my Excel skills a lot on society stuff, especially online, where you can't just like hand someone a stack of Chronicle sheets.
That's frowned upon, is it?
Yeah. It's hard to do. You have to like scan them all into a drive folder. Mostly folks online just trust that your Chronicle sheets are in order.
Yeah.
Someday there will be a better solution.
I gotta get into society. I'm like, I never have, and I think I regret not getting into it more.
You should come over to the Cosmic Crit server. There are society games like all the heckin' time.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. Again, it's the time. Like, I don't have time for this. Oh, shit.
That's the beauty of society, though.
Yeah, I can just jump in. Yeah. Fine, I have a free night. I can just go find a society game.
Yeah, and you know, we got 3-day weekend for 4th of July. We tend to get a lot of games on the 3-day weekends.
This year sucks for Canada because our holiday is the 1st. That's Canada Day.
Oh, yeah.
And so the 1st is a Thursday, and like I have to go to work on Friday. It's so stupid.
Oh.
Like half my department.
They're not giving you Friday off?
No, like I would have had to book it, but I was on paternity leave when vacations were booked. So I came back.
Oh.
I came back at the start of May, and like half my department took the day off. So I'm like, oh, guys, I'm working. Awesome. Sucks for me.
Lame.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll be fine. Like I think we're gonna do the zoo on Canada Day itself. We're gonna go to the zoo. Like the Toronto Zoo is not far from our house. It's a very fun zoo. Yeah, my son, he just turned 1. He loves it. He thinks it's the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
My wife took him there a few days ago, and he saw like the baboons were like fighting over a stick. He went gaga over it. He didn't want to leave the baboons. He just thought they were the coolest thing in the entire world. So I'm excited to take them. Should be a lot of fun.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
It's
that's probably one of the coolest things about having, small people.
experiencing things through small people is amazing. It's even better when they can talk. Like my daughter's like, she's 5, so she talks and she has thoughts and she does things, and experiencing things through her eyes is just really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, everything's new all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And it helps you like,
I
I
was-
don't know, teaching things to people is a really good way to like learn it yourself too, right? So like, I mean, that's how I always got better at DMing, is because I was the DM all the time. I had to get good at it. So like teaching her stuff now is kind of fun and helps me learn more about, I don't know, it's just nice.
yeah, everything. When I was teaching kindergarten, they taught me a lot of stuff about like, how to be a better human being.
Yeah,
'Cause,
right?
when you're telling 5-year-olds, hey, you can't do that. You can't treat your friends like that. Like
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not
why
okay.
not?
And then you look around your 25-year-old self life and go, oh, I shouldn't treat my friends like that either.
Shit, I've been doing that to my friend Steve. I
Shit,
should go
that's
apologize to
kindergarten
Steve.
skills. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe I should go back to kindergarten.
Yes, right. I'm really happy. Like I've noticed a bunch of things. Like her class is very multicultural,
Nice.
and it's very like I can see how accepting she is of other people already. And it's so like because when I was growing up, like where I live, it's Oshawa. It's a GM town. Like General Motors was big here. I had like
Hmm.
4 black kids in my entire school growing up. Like, so there wasn't a chance to like even experience anyone of a different culture or color. Really, like, the town was so whitewashed, and it's not that way anymore. And it's really nice to have her experiencing that at a young age that I never did. It's really like she's gonna be so more well rounded than I had an opportunity to be as a kid. I'm really happy for it, because I know like there's some like prejudices and stuff that I had like worked through at a younger age and stuff, because I just didn't know better. I just was an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If nobody ever teaches you,
Right, exactly. If
then,
you're not experiencing it around it and getting to know people, like you're stupid. So I'm glad that
yeah,
she's getting like experiences that I didn't get. It's nice to see.
that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Make them a little bit better than we were.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't know. There's been a lot of mistakes in the past, so let's try to get rid of those.
Yeah. I figured, looking back, it's like, at least for my parents, they did the best that they could with the information they had, right?
Yeah.
They tried.
Yeah. Like I remember the day that I found out that my parents were like anti-abortion, because like I was like a lot of my views were based off television. So in all the television
Right.
shows of the 90s, it was like abortion's okay, don't worry. So like I said like, oh yeah, we're all okay with abortion. And my dad's like, I'm not. I was like, what? What do you mean you're not? And like, I'm Catholic. Of course I'm not. I'm like, you're Catholic? I've never been in church in my life.
What?
So like, finding out my parents were like had some of those backwards views was just like, what? What's going on right now?
Yeah. Funny how that happens.
It is funny. Like it's just because my parents did a really good job of like not forcing their beliefs on me. Like they're like, you figure it on your
That's
own.
good.
Because
Yeah.
like that's what they managed to do that with like their religion and stuff like that. So it's funny, like they stopped going to church before they were married, and the priest didn't want to marry them because they hadn't like the Catholic priest didn't want to marry them because they hadn't been in church for like 2 or 3 years. So like my
Uh-huh.
grandparents bribed him, like both sets of
That,
parents.
as you did at
Yeah,
the time.
as you did at the
Yeah.
time, you just bribed the Catholic priest to marry you. So they bribed him. They did a donation to the church, and the priest agreed to marry them. And then 3 years later, my oldest brother was born, and they brought him to be baptized. And the priest is like, "Get the fuck out! I haven't seen you for 3 years since your marriage. I'm not baptizing your kids." And then both my parents went, "Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks." And they just left. They just never came back. And so ever since then, they would let us decide on our own things and our own beliefs and stuff. And I think I ended up with a very like liberal television upbringing because of that. So like TV really shaped me, and like the whole like all the messages you learned from television in the 90s of like be nice to everybody and abortions are okay, drugs are bad, like all that stuff like really sunk in because my parents weren't left that void for me. So it's I don't know, it's a fun upbringing that I had.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole thing. That's part of why, when I was in college, I really wanted to go into television
Yeah.
because it shapes our cultural narrative
Yeah.
so much. Like, Will and Grace is a huge part of why people are okay with gays.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's like that's what did it. But that's the thing. Like I mean, a lot of people talk about. There's a story I remember where I'm not sure where they worked, but this like KKK guy had to work every single day next to a black lady, and after like a few years of working together, she turned him not racist, and he like stopped being part of the KKK because he actually got to know a black person, and he never had that opportunity beforehand. They were just like the people over there. So
Yeah.
like actually getting to know, and same with Will and Grace, you got to see these people and realize like, oh yeah, being like gay isn't any different than anyone else. Like it's like
we invite the people on TV into our home
yeah,
to be part of our life.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even though they're fictional.
Even though they're fictional, it's enough to like start breaking down that wall, right? Like that's that first like sledgehammer into the wall, and then it just goes from there. The getting to like know people like really helps, and like that's why I'm glad my daughter gets to like meet people from different religions and cultures and stuff, and she'll get to like really form her own beliefs over time. Hopefully,
Right?
very much like me. Hopefully, like where she just gets to make up her own mind about things and not be warped in weird ways.
I'm sure that, that generation will be warped in weird ways too.
Yeah, every generation
There will
is.
be something about this time in history that messes them up somehow.
Oh yeah, we always mess up the next generation. That always happens, but hopefully we get better over time.
Hopefully, that's the goal. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
They're a little bit better than we were.
Yeah.
More prepared. Don't get quite as much of the "you could be anything you want to be" baby. I think that was probably our big one in the 90s.
You can be anything you want to be, and you have to go to university.
Anything.
That was the big.
You have to go.
You have to go to university.
To go to university.
Like, what, you want to be a factory worker like me your whole life? Like, no, Dad, I don't. I'm sorry. I'll go to university. I went to university and I hated it. I ended up going to college a few years later because it's just like, this sucks. Why do I want to do this? I have a ton of friends that
I
went.
wanted to be a longshoreman like my dad. He was like, no daughter of mine is gonna be a longshoreman. You're gonna go to college.
Should have been a longshoreman.
Was a...
like, jeez. These guys are mean.
Being a software engineer is a little bit easier, at least on the bones in the back.
That's impressive work. I wish I had gone into programming, to be honest. Like in college, I had the chance to be a programmer or go into like the system side of things. I chose the system sides, and I don't even work in that industry. It was like, I regret not going into programming. I got perfect on the programming midterm. Why didn't I continue?
The real hack is it's just another trade.
Yeah, it is.
We just
it really
build
is.
things with code.
And it's like it's not any easier on your body than longshoremen. Like working an office job is really rough.
You're gonna get carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I gave myself carpal tunnel. I worked in a furniture store as the stockroom guy, and I was stupid. I would carry boxes. I don't know if you can see, but I like hold my hand like this around the box, and so I gave myself carpal tunnel in that hand. I'm like, what's the matter with me?
Oh, no.
So I had to like start carrying boxes properly. It's like, I hate my life. And I threw my back out. It was all for minimum wage too. It was so stupid. Threw away your health for minimum wage. It's so stupid.
We gotta do more about health. But at least in Canada, they don't charge an arm and a leg for your health care.
Well, yeah, like I paid like when both my kids were born, I paid like $80 each. So yeah,
killing me.
Yeah, my dad's side of the family is from the States, and we had I think my step great grandfather, he had dual citizenship, but like when he got sick, he came back to Canada because he had stayed in the States. He would have bankrupted the entire family with his treatment. Like,
yeah,
so we were lucky. Like it's criminal like that. You guys don't have universal health care. Like, you guys can afford it. Why aren't you doing it? I don't. But you've convinced yourselves that you can't. It's awful.
I'm native and I grew up in Alaska, so I moved to the States, and for the first time in my life, I have to pay for healthcare,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is garbage.
This is
And
yeah.
we've been playing the guess how much Nick's insulin costs game,
Oh
um,
no.
because that's a fun game.
Like my buddy is type 2 diabetics in Canada. Like they don't cover everything. They cover a lot, but like he still has to pay a lot of money. Like he basically has to have a job that has health insurance, or like he just can't afford to
Huh.
live, just because like he still has to pay for insulin and some other things. But at least the healthcare is free, but like not all the medication necessarily is. But like that changed his life. Like I can't imagine paying paying the amount that you guys pay for insulin, because like it's expensive enough up here as it is. But like your guys'
Uh,
price, it's price gouging. It's disgusting.
it's terrible. I'm just lucky I have good health insurance.
You have
Occasionally, I
to.
go on the portal and look how much it was before insurance,
Oh,
and I'm just like, what? I don't know why I do this to myself.
but that's at the same time that like almost locks you into your job, because it's like you can't afford to give that up, and it's just like it's almost a form of slavery in a sense. Like it's I don't know. It's a scary world we live in.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
even my friend, like he couldn't. He wanted to become a teacher, but there was way too many high school teachers in Ontario when he was graduating. So like you had
Hmm.
to go on the supply list, but the supply lists you don't get health insurance or you're a part-time
Oh,
employee. So like he couldn't do that because he needed health insurance for his insulin. So like he couldn't pursue that career because of his disease, and I was just like, this isn't fair. This is awful. That like,
that. Yeah.
wow.
Oh, man. See, we idealize Canada
There's a
on the side of the border. We're like, man, everything must be like green and peachy, but
it's cold a lot of the time. Our healthcare is phenomenal in a lot of ways. Like my dad passed away of cancer from 9 years ago. We didn't have to pay for any of that really. Like we had to pay for like some of his healthcare stuff that he brought home, like the AIDS and stuff like that. But like his hospital stay, we didn't have to pay for any of that. Like it's amazing. I can just go. If I hurt myself, I can go to the emergency room. I don't even have to question it, and like that's amazing. Like I had a friend in college who was American. He was like, I broke my hand, and it's like I didn't go. I just strapped it up because like I couldn't afford that trip, and like that's such a awful place to be in for like such things that can be taken care of like easily by a doctor. Just
right.
uh,
What gets me is the preventative stuff. You know,
yeah.
if the preventative stuff is covered, a lot of the bigger stuff gets caught before it's a big
I
thing.
mean, there's all that talk about like a homeless person, for example, who keeps going. Like this happens in the States and Canada. Homeless person, their health is awful because they're homeless, so they're in and out of the hospital getting treated for all this stuff. Where it would have been actually cheaper for society if we just gave them a house, like we just gave them an apartment to live in,
Yeah.
and like that's
Sure.
insane. Like all they need is a roof, and they would be not. It would be costing us way less as a society, but we can't be giving free handouts to people. Like it's such
I-
bullshit.
No, no, that would be that's crazy talk.
Yeah, but it can cost our
It-
healthcare industry $1 million a year, but we can't spend $60,000 a year giving them a house. Like, come on.
yeah,
It's so much stuff is so
craziness.
backwards just to like to be fair or equitable or. I thought we were talking about
Yeah.
board games. What is all this?
We got like
No, it's good to go on tangents though and talk about like the state of the world. No, it's good. It's good
yeah.
conversation.
But you know, we could bring it back because we could tell stories about these things, right?
Yeah.
In our tabletop games, like Fly Free or Die. We were talking with Leo Glass yesterday, who wrote it, which was really exciting. Leo came on our show, um, and that's available on our Twitch channel for the next like however long it stays up, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Twitch
And then
sucks
it'll be
like
on
that, by the
our
way.
YouTube. Huh?
Twitch sucks for that. I hate that it goes down so quick. It's like you guys suck. Oh no.
Right? You can, if you go in now, export it straight to YouTube though.
Oh right,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
handy.
Yeah, they do make that export a lot
Only-
easier these days, which is nice.
Yeah. If only it was automated. Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nudge, nudge.
Come
Twitch.
on, Twitch. Come on.
I know an engineer over there. I should tell her,
Yeah, automate this shit.
suggest it. Somebody put this on an Asana board
Yeah,
somewhere.
just right on the board. Just like sneak into that room, right up there. It's a great idea.
Yep. Uh, but Fly Free or Die is all like working class stories.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, that's not Big Damn Heroes.
that's not the one where I
In
was started
fact,
listening to. The
yeah,
okay, that was
yeah,
good. We were talking about how like, and I really liked I haven't, as I said, I haven't got far in the episode, but I really did like. It seemed like you guys had one good character joining everyone else who was already working there. That's what it seemed like, and that's such a like classic narrative thing to do, and it's such a great thing for a viewer where you like I got to follow that guy in that leather jacket as he got to meet all these crewmates,
yeah,
and you guys did such a like good job of making them feel like a crew already. Like where it's like, yeah, me and Gus, we just go and watch TV all the time, like the insect guy or whatever it was. Like that was really cool. I really
yeah, Marayoth.
yeah, it was a man, that commercial though, the EJ commercial, the Edge commercial was fantastic.
Yes,
Uh, the the tone of it was, is it Thomas is your dungeon master? Is that his name?
Tom. Yeah,
Tom, like his tone for that was so good. He did such a good job of that. It was phenomenal. I can't go back. I can't wait to go back and listen to the rest of that episode.
yeah, that Edge Corp promotional video.
Yeah.
And we do get to stick it to them.
Do you?
So
Nice.
keep listening, and we will stick it to Edge Corp.
Good.
Um, we're like 17 episodes in now, and it's not too much of a spoiler, but Marayoth is like so gleeful about sticking it to Edge Corp now. Marayoth goes through this whole arc from being a good company bug to
Is
be he's like a rebel now.
is that a homebrew race or is that actually in Starfinder?
Spathany is in Starfinder.
Or that's such a cool idea for a race, like a swarm of sentient bugs. Like that's crazy. It's fantastic.
Yep. They don't get as into how the swarm of bugs works as we do that. A lot of that is Simon making stuff up. Um,
Is Simon the
and
player?
us just yes,
Nice.
and us just bantering, sort of filling in the gaps, because it's an alien archive race. So they have one page in one of the alien archives.
Oh, that's not
Um,
enough. That's not nearly enough information. One page?
Yeah, so we've filled in a lot of gaps and made stuff up. It might get eroded later. We'll see what happens.
I,
Or maybe Paizo will call Simon when we
Yeah.
need more information on Spathidae.
hopefully. Because I really, my brain started working it out too. It's like, oh wow, like they must be like breeding all the time to like his healing is actually just them breeding and making more to add to
Yeah.
it. And stuff like my brain started working in that way too. Like it's like because when the what was the guy's name with the leather jacket? Jester or something like that.
Catch.
Catch. That's what it was. Yeah. So when Catch like swats the bug, I was like, no, that's part of a sentient being. You can't just kill the bug. And I started thinking about like in combat when he gets hit by guns and other things. It's like, oh, that makes give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about how a sentient swarm of bugs worked before we started the show, and we still almost every episode something comes up where
Yeah.
we're like, how does that work?
I feel like it would take up half my session 0 just talking about that sentient bug. Like, it's like, okay, how does this work, guys? Like, this is so
Yeah.
interesting.
It really did, and Anicola like went above and beyond making that Spathidae art work for Simon, because in the book the art is sort of humanoid shaped, but obviously made of a bunch of small little bits,
Yeah.
bugs. But Simon, being Simon, wanted something different. For our series 1, he decided to play an Astrozoan who never like took another humanoid form. It was just his aberration form all the time.
Nice.
And Seth, Mistaken Potatoes, did that art. It's fabulous. It's like one of the few pieces of Astrozoan art you'll see where they're just an Astrozoan, and he's like shoved into his spacesuit with his tentacles coming out like a face. It's great.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, Simon loves those weird characters.
I mean, that's the great thing about any game you play, like any tabletop RPG game, like just like how much you can like warp it to your own needs and change things and stuff. Like once you banish that like invisible referee, like You can get some really cool storylines going and crazy cool abilities. Like once you get like your dungeon master on board with like warping things, it's so much more fun. Like I don't know, it's way more interesting.
I love being able to tell them yes when they come up with crazy things, honestly. Although Leif has been banned from any more Dragonkin soldiers because
Why is that?
they when I ran Dawn of Flame, they built this Dragonkin soldier named Sal with reach and cleave, and I couldn't do anything about Sal. He just waded into any combat I threw, and if I made anything, it was the classic like rogue problem. Anything that was strong enough to deal with Sal was gonna just one shot the rest of the party.
That's tough. I don't know. It's tough when you're just like have a player who's just like min-maxed and kills everything.
Which is really funny because we get into the stream and Leif builds these characters now who are suboptimal. Every single one is suboptimal in some way. And actually got complimented our first series. He built Gur, and Gur goes into our first encounter without any armor.
Nice.
Because he spent all of his credits on a hand cannon, and he's just wearing a spacesuit.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, like
stuff like that.
For Goblins and Gambles, I play like a cleric, and I tank charisma on him, which I wasn't thinking, and I didn't realize that I didn't realize channeling was based off my charisma, and it's just so much fun to play like such an asshole cleric. He's just so like abrasive to people all the time because his charisma is like 8, so it's like he's just like forgets people's names. He's just like unintentionally rude, and it's so much fun to play that. It's really fun to try to come up with like fake names for people where like I flum their names bad. It's so much fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
One of my favorite weirdly optimal builds is to do the intelligence bard. Not very charismatic, just like super smart. It doesn't work in Pathfinder 2, by the way.
Your skills go through the roof in Pathfinder 1 at least.
Yeah, in Pathfinder 1, you become like the operative is in Starfinder.
Yes, we're planning on running a Starfinder game soon, and I built a Ysoki operative, and I just love it because there's so many skills. It's just like, this is great. I have so many good skills.
Yep, and then at level 7, you become an unstoppable death machine.
Oh, really? That's exciting. I can't wait.
Yes. It's just the way that operatives are built. Sometimes we joke that they might just be a little bit OP. Sloan on Fly Free or Die is now an unstoppable death machine.
Nice.
Just bounces around the battlefield. But I realized that I built a character who has no ranks in... She doesn't have any engineering, computers, or mysticism.
Ooh. You're not good at anything.
She's got bluff and diplomacy and intimidate. And sense motive and perception. And she's got all of her social skills. But she's no good with computers or anything. And so sometimes when there's skill bits, Sloan is just like sitting around twiddling her thumbs. She's like, call me when you need to talk to someone or murder something. That's all I'm good at.
I'll just sit back here and just wait for something to happen, I guess.
Yeah, yep. The captain who is not tech savvy in a sci-fi game. Because she's Han Solo. That's who I built her after. Like, not particularly tech savvy.
Yeah.
Really good at talking to people and blasting things. These are the things she's good at.
The funny thing about like my cleric being like uncharismatic was, and he became the king somehow in our Kingmaker campaign. I don't know how, and it's just like so awful to me that he's the king because like when I made him, I had like I made him not to be the leader of the group because I find like as a DM and stuff, I find myself like in that leadership role. So I wanted to like make a guy who wasn't a leader for this one. I wanted to be that support character. And the fact that he ended up as king is just like, what the fuck happened? Like how far off the rails did we go? The Baynard is a fucking king right now. It's just
you have to find somebody who wants that leader role and make your character like their number 2. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I kind of want to like have him give it away at some point is my plan, or he'll die. Who knows? Like we play lethal games, it could happen.
Oh, that's a fun one to talk about. Lethality in games. I'm of the school that you must have player buy-in um, before you kill their characters.
Yeah, so I know, like, I'm not a player often. I'm usually a DM, so I played it only a little bit. But there are still, like, for Baynard, for example, if he died right now, I'd be a little ticked off. And just a sense of, like, there's more of his story that I'd like to explore. And
Right.
to have that, like, have ideas of, like, what could happen in the future for him is exciting for me. And just to have that suddenly cut off with, like, no discussion about it, it's just kind of like, I feel like it would feel shitty. I don't know. Like they're like, I also listened to Glass Cannon podcast, and there was a really cool shaman character that the guy introduced, and he lasted for like 5 minutes, and he had such a cool backstory. There's so much opportunity for them to explore things. He got some cool visions, stuff in the short amount of time that he was there, and then he just died, and they haven't talked about him since. And it's just like
Oh,
such a wasted opportunity. And if they were playing a game where there's player buy-in, that guy would still be alive. And like the way they killed him was really bad too. So it's just like you're it's remember when I was mentioning the wagon, whether you can fall or not fall, character death, like you
right.
just stop the story, and it's like it sucks for the audience sometimes. And even if it's just the players as the audience, like that's enough. Like I feel like you need to have people saying yes, you can kill my character. I think that any other way is just like
Yeah, I think it needs to serve a bigger story
has
purpose.
to serve a bigger story purpose, yeah. Or like it's like at least give me a cool death, like I'm protecting the from the bad guys who are chasing us, like something like give me something cool. Whereas like in Glass Can, when that guy died, it was just like he got charged by a bad guy who got a critical on him. So it's just like,
Ugh,
that's so stupid, so stupid.
not good television.
It wasn't. It was really upsetting, for me at least.
We spend a lot of time talking about that. Does this make good television?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that can help your games and help your like wrangling, like you're talking about, help your pacing and keep momentum going. And I know with Monster of the Week, playing that game has made me a better DM in my Pathfinder games too. And it's like knowing when to cut off a scene where it's like, okay, there is some chance we can do some more worthwhile role playing in this, but like you've gotten the information, there's no more information from this person, cutting the scene off. I think that's really important.
Right.
I ran into a
Just
problem.
telling the players that you're done here. Time to move on.
I ran into a problem where uh, they're getting used to me doing that in our Monster of the Week game. And I was editing an
Hmm.
episode the other day, and I realized when I was editing the episode, they went and had this conversation with the guy, and like the player kept thinking that there was something he was missing, and he was like, "Well, Eric wouldn't have sent me here if there wasn't something." Like he said that, like missed it during the first play round, but I was listening. I'm like, I didn't send him there. He went there on his own. So like, it's not like I had
But they
information.
think you sent them
He
there.
thought
They're convinced
he
every time.
he forgot that it was his idea to go there, but it's like, so I didn't want to stop him, and I wanted to introduce that NPC for future stuff.
Hmm.
So that's why I had him go there, but there was nothing beyond being introduced to this guy. But he was convinced that because we were there was something important. It's like, no, you chose to do this. I just didn't stop you. So like,
Right.
I had to like stop that conversation and be like, okay, there's nothing else. He's stopped talking to you. So I had to like get him out of there.
Players think that GMs are like omnipotent, and the trick is to let them believe it,
Yes. Yeah.
right? But also to guide them and maybe give them a little bit of what they want.
Yes.
Keep making them think that we know everything before it happens. It's true though. Players will keep on pursuing something that's not important because,
Yeah.
but you sent me here. No, I
I
didn't.
didn't. It was
It was
your
all
idea.
you.
This was all on you. Don't put this mistake on my.
Yeah, we were there's uh the end of one of the Fly for or Die books actually was supposed to end in a much more morbid way than it did. And Tom changed it. I won't spoil how he
Yeah.
changed it. Because he was like, my players will never let this go.
Yeah.
They're not going to go on the next plot point if I do what the book says. So
Yeah.
he had and he saw it coming and changed it. And when we all found out that he had changed it, we were, yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom. We would have gone south
They were in a
and
riot.
not finished this campaign.
Yeah. But that's the sign of a good DM where he would recognize that and change the storyline. I think people have to learn to do that. If you're following an AP, it's okay to change things up. Like things need to be
Yeah,
changed up for your group. Like you know your players. The guys who wrote that don't know your players. They wrote it for the common denominator. They wrote it for whatever, right? So like you have to be able to change those things on the fly and adjust that. I think that's where you can add your own flair to things, and it's exciting.
right. And there's always a way to bring it back to the AP. I found I used to be really scared that like I would ruin everything down the road if I changed something.
Yeah,
But there's always a way to bring it back. Sometimes it takes a little bit of creative thinking,
yeah,
but it's usually pretty easy, honestly.
yeah. And like I find your players want you to bring it back. They want you to succeed too. So like they're willing to take some stretches in storytelling a little bit. They're willing to let you get away with things.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
If your players aren't playing along with you, then it might be time to get new players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
'Cause yeah, they should also be concerned if their GM is having fun.
Yeah, that's a thing that I also as a DM I didn't consider that in the past. I was just like, as long as they're having fun, like that's all that matters. It's like, no, this has to be fun for me too. Like I have to be having a good time. I have to like the story that we're doing. I like
Yeah,
and thinking about that.
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to have a good time with it.
I did that too. I think that's probably a cardinal rookie mistake.
Yeah,
No, my as long as my players are having fun. No, no, no.
yeah,
The GM, you have to be having fun too. Otherwise, your
yes,
players could tell, honestly,
yeah,
if you're not having fun, and they're gonna respond to it. So
yeah. That's the thing. Like if you're high in spirits, they'll be in high in spirits, and uh, it just improves things so much more.
right, yeah, it's like theater on overdrive.
Yeah, I used to do community theater. I did like lighting and stuff, and in high school I
Hmm.
was part of it and stuff too. And I kind of miss that atmosphere. Like it's a being there for show night is nothing quite like it.
No, we're almost there with Twitch, but not quite.
Yeah,
You don't get quite as much of the energy back from the audience.
I I think that sometimes like I like it when in situations like that where things go wrong. Like those are all my memorable moments where something goes wrong and you try and make sure the audience doesn't realize like so my community theater group, their lighting board was like super old, and the way it connected to like the boards and the lights through like some sort of connector, and that had short circuited in the middle of a show. So I went to go like turn off the lights, and like the lights just went wonky, and to get a blackout I had to like just shut the board off. And like that was fun to me to be in that moment. At the time it was terrifying, but like figuring out how like that, like fiddling around with the board to get what I needed and do stuff like that was fun. And getting through that moment and figuring it like and problem solving, getting the lights off, that was fun.
Yeah. This is
there,
why theater people like tabletop games.
yeah, yeah,
And
it's
I
not.
definitely bring that when I run games too.
Yeah,
Like that mentality of, well, they're not gonna know if I
they're
do it
not gonna
wrong.
know. Yeah, they're not gonna know if I flub this roll or I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just gonna like, yeah, just give me a roll. Let's go
Make
with
up
it.
an NPC name.
Yeah.
Well, except for that I name all my NPCs Steve, so they're always on to me if I'm naming it NPCs. Like, oh, that one's named Steve. Nick made it up on the fly. I also I put in, if it's Frank the Bunny, they know that like they're going the wrong direction.
Oh, that's
Like,
a good,
oh,
good trope.
what's on this bookshelf? I'm like, it's all Frank the Bunny books. And they're
Frank.
like, okay, there's nothing important on that bookshelf.
I'm gonna go down this hallway. You see Frank the bunny just sitting there. I'm not going down that hallway. I'm good. I'll turn around.
Nothing important down there. Never mind.
Yeah, that's good to have stuff like that as a group.
Yeah.
That's one playing with the same people over and over. You build those types of experiences, and that's a great thing to have. I find.
Yeah. And you really get to trust each other,
Yeah,
you know.
like you can see that with like people who act together, or improv together, or this or play. Because I mean, this really at the end of the day, this is a form of improv. Even though like people didn't realize that until recently. You have to build trust with each other, and like you hear about all these games where like people break the trust, where they do awful things to each other's players and stuff like that, and like it's just terrible. Like I don't know, when you're role playing, even if you're just talking about like fighting a monster or just like talking about stuff, you can like really like open yourself up and like really put yourself out there, and to have people like break that trust is just terrible. Like there's so many shitty people out there. It's awful.
I think most players are good though.
Most players are good. I'll agree to that statement. There are,
yeah,
and like
we're
good at weeding out the really shitty people. It's like they don't get invited back to the table. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's another piece of like newbie GM advice. Like, don't put up with bad players.
It's okay. That's not even that's not even tabletop advice. That's life advice. You don't have to put up with shitty people, even if they're your family. Like, don't put up with shit. Like, you can cut people of your life. Like I've had some poisonous family members in the past, and I've cut them out, and it's made my life so much better. And like, same with friends. Like, people have like done me wrong. It's like, cut them out, and your life is so much better. Like, just, you don't have to put up with people. You don't. Like, it's your life. Be around who you want to be around. Enjoy it, and don't let people treat you terrible. Like, that's the best advice I can give somebody.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I always tell people, you know, there's so many more groups out there. Go online, find good people.
Yeah, there's tons of groups out there, and like if you find you're not meshing with somebody, if you're not meshing with them, don't stay then. If they're not meshing with you, politely ask them to leave. Like, it's okay. Like, you can find, like, you don't have to like everybody. Like, you don't. You can.
Yeah.
There's more.
And not
to
everyone
life.
has to like you. And
yes, not everyone has to like you.
And at the end of the day, you don't have to like playing tabletop games the same way.
Exactly.
Like, there are groups out there who want to just be murder hobos, and that's great.
That's fine for that group. If they're all
if you don't
want
to be a murder hobo, don't go play with. You don't have to play with the murder hobos. Yes. They're not playing wrong. You're not playing wrong. It's just not. That's not the right group. And if you don't want to run for a bunch of murder hobos, they can have a different GM. Right. There are plenty of GMs who want to run for murder hobos.
There are murder hobo GMs out there. It's okay. You can find them. They exist.
You can find them.
Yeah.
Go find other people who want to be murder hobos and be happy murder hobos together. Do not ruin.
Be the best murder hobo you can be.
Don't ruin the GM who wants to play epic Lord of the Rings grand fantasy. Don't ruin their game by being a murder hobo.
Don't do it.
Go find someone else who wants to be a murder hobo and play with them.
Guarantee you that exists. They're magic resistant. Sorry, I've been doing this combat for... This is my third attempt at this combat, and I'm just realizing this because they're magic resistant, that, like, half the stuff I'm doing is not working.
Oh, of course.
God. Like, I'm in, like, this place's version of Moria, and like, there's a bunch of drow running around, and they are just beating me up.
The drow.
Yeah. Well, it's like... There was 2 rogues that had, like, stone skin cast on them. There's 2 archers, and then there's this wizard who's just making my day terrible.
Wizards will do that.
He's doing it. He's doing a good job of it. I think, and on, like, my second attempt, I think he cast Bentlin's Burning Blood on my guy. It's a terrible spell. Only I should be able to use that spell. It's terrible.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
We had some shields the other day that we decided the GM should not be allowed to use. They were just too mean.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, he's held somehow. How did I hold him? That's very good for me. Ooh, is your blood? Oh shoot! So this is really bad. He's had Bentlin's Burning Blood cast on him by the wizard, and it's successful. So his blood is on fire right now. He's poisoned.
That's not good.
He's poisoned, and he's berserk, so I can't even like get him to like drink a potion.
Oh
so
no!
So he's gonna die. That's fine. It's just Balgra. He's a blowhard. He's fine. He can die. Jeez, that's rough. Wonder if Dispel Magic can help at all. I'm gonna try. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, success. So I ended up.
Wizards will mess up your day.
He's messing up my day real bad.
I had a combat in Extinction Curse the other day. All these baddies are riding up on the party, and the wizards are like, Chain lightning killed all their mounts. They all fell out of the sky and
No.
took a bunch of damage. I'm like,
That's
well,
mean. Mount killing?
and next combat.
You can't kill their mounts. That's just cruel.
It was very mean. They are in the legally distinct Underdark,
Yeah. Okay.
the Darklands.
I still call it the Underdark. I've always called it the Underdark because I was used to D&D before. Mainly because like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, the Underdark is a thing here. So
Right.
I can't call it the Darklands. I just can't do it. Oh no, Balka!
Right, I struggle too. That's why it's the legally distinct Underdark, or the place formerly known as the Underdark.
I just did it. Oh, that was tough. That was tough.
Oh goodness, well done.
Yeah, I'm very happy with myself. So I'm playing with a group of all bards, just for fun.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm like, when they get through comments like that, I'm like very impressed that the bards did it. It's like, good job, guys, you did it. You haven't you haven't let me down yet. It's tough. It's tough. I'll tell you. There's been some bad times. There's been a few
we
times.
keep talking about doing a special. It's all bards.
I think
Bards.
every person has talked about that because like me and my friends have talked about the same thing. I even went and made up the bard for it, and it's a fun idea to think of like the band going out and fighting some. It's very Tenacious D almost. Let's go fight that demon. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Tenacious D.
Yeah.
That's why we all want to do it.
It's why we all want to do
We're
it.
all at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. I hadn't thought about it until just now.
It's all yeah.
Get the
Jack
band,
Black.
go fight some demons.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go fight those demons. There is like no
man,
loot
Jack
in
Black.
this whole place. Yeah, Jack Black
They
and
made you do that horrible fight and there's no loot. How rude.
there's I got some like chainmail plus ones. Like it's nothing I'm gonna use, it's just stuff I'm gonna sell.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine.
You have to get out of the Underdark.
That's the trick is like so in this game very few places the enemies respawn, except in this place. They like to respawn here. So like getting out is a chore. It's like, oh, there's some more Ettins I gotta fight. God damn it. It's fun. It's fun times, I'll tell you. I think I can sleep in this room. It's got a whole bunch of beds. I think it's fairly safe. So the funny thing is I don't have healing because they're bards. So there's very little healing. So when I rest, they just sleep until they're fully healed. That's just a setting I've put in the game. So they slept for 18 days just there. Because that's how injured they were.
Oh
They just
my
slept
goodness.
18 days straight. In this dungeon, in this like terrible room. They just slept 18 days in here. It's really ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
So normally in a normal run, it'll probably take me like 300 in-game days with all my sleeping and everything. 200 to 300 days. The bards, I'm probably maybe 60% done the game at this point. The bards have been running for 657 days. That's how much they've slept.
Need that much sleep.
They just need that much sleep. They just like need their beauty rest after a party. That's just what they need. It's fun times. I enjoy this game.
Second edition Pathfinder made bards full spellcasters.
Full,
It's really weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah. It's very strange. I went to build a bard, and like I love my bard now, but like I could not build a bard the way I built a bard in first edition. It's like a totally different class than what it used to be.
Well, yeah, it would be. Like, I don't know. I haven't played many bards. I've like seen bards played, and I feel like I know how I would play mine. But like they're mainly skill monkeys, aren't they? Like
yeah, they always were.
Yeah,
like big on skills
big
and
on
a little bit
knowledge
like
tests. Like they should be knowledge.
yeah, a little bit roguelike in combat with a few spells. They sort of had that arcane trickster sort of thing built in going on. Not the case now. Full cast.
Really?
Yeah, which is great, but weird.
My favorite bard that I ever made, it was an enemy of the party. It was we were playing Feast of Ravenmore, and there's like a family, a daughter, a dad, and a mom, and like the stats they give them in the book are just like normal human stats. It was stupid. So I gave them character classes. The daughter was the bard, the mom was a rogue, and the dad I think was barbarian. So like he would help his wife flank, and the daughter would stay back and inspire both of her parents. Like, she'd cheer on her parents. And I think that was one of my favorite like family builds to fight with. It was really fun. It was a fun combat.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good times. Feast of Ravenmoor, I love that module so much. It's such a fun one. Sabaktan. He was a wizard.
Ooh.
It's an Umber Hulk, but he's actually a wizard. He got turned into an Umber Hulk. And
okay.
so I have to help him because
That's what it does.
Yeah.
You know.
So
you're a heroic group of bards after all.
Yeah, exactly. So he was a lieutenant of the big bad guy, and then a different guy like took over and turned him into an Umber Hulk and became the new lieutenant. So he's like, I'll give you information about the big bad guy if you go kill this guy. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
I need information. I'll do it. So I have to go kill some guys. It's fun.
The life of an adventurer.
Yeah. Killing people for other people. That's what you do.
Running errands.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally escorting people.
Thankfully, not too much of that in this game. Almost never.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. You've escorted like dead bodies, and generally so this game doesn't have any really any escort quests. The Baldur's Gate, and I think Baldur's Gate 2, you'd get party members that would have a quest, and they'd stay in your party until you did that quest, and they'd even stay with your party after you did that quest. So it's kind of cool how they integrated it as they were with you as an adventurer, but at some point you would do their side quest, and I thought that was a really cool way to do it.
Nice.
For a video game at least. So you're kind of escorting them, but you're kind of not. Yeah, some of the quests were really involved, other ones were really minor.
Much better than just walking very slowly.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, this game introduced me to the idea of having a party. All the spells and stuff are exactly the same as 3.5 basically. They didn't change too much. So it has Magic Missile, it has Mel's Acid Arrow. So it really exposed me to tabletop games. That's why I play it for these streams, because it's usually on topic, what's going on.
Right.
And most people have an idea of what Magic Missile does, and most of my guests at least. So this is an Orog chieftain I have to kill. It's good times. Good times.
It's funny how little has really changed at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it works.
The names have changed. Legally distinct Underdark.
Yes, exactly. Let's call it the Darklands. The Dark Under. Can we get away with that? No? Okay.
Totally different. These are Zolgaths, not Troglodytes.
Yeah. Can't call him a Mind Flayer or a Beholder. We'll call it something else. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised that Drow was not trademarked. We still get to have Drow.
Yeah, I'm surprised with that too, actually. I wonder if it's based off something. From. Yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be based off of something if it's
older. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Wizards just copyrights everything that they can get their hands on.
We were going to call our podcast Year of the Beholder, and a bunch of people pointed that out to us, and we were like, yeah, let's just change it before anyone knows us by this name, because we didn't want to even.
Oh, is Beholder copyrighted?
Beholder's copyrighted. Isn't that ridiculous?
What?
Yeah.
I thought Paizo used Beholder. Did they call it something else? Now I'm curious.
I don't know. Let's find out. I want to go search that.
I have to look it up. Beholder. Let's see. Beholder. I can spell Beholder. Yeah, no. Paizo uses Beholder. Maybe it expired. Maybe it used to be.
I heard that
Maybe Beholder just got popular enough that now they can't hold on to it.
I heard that we could get in trouble because I think the image was copyrighted, especially.
Oh, the image for sure.
Yeah. So it was okay, let's just name it something else. We went with Goblins and Gambles. It's G&G. It's
Goblins and Gambles is pretty great.
It's pretty cute. I like it.
And everyone loves goblins,
Especially as a Pathfinder podcast. That was my big push of why. When we were saying okay, should we go with Goblins and Gambles? I'm yeah, it's a good Pathfinder thing. It's got that connection. Pathfinder's the like the Weeby Goblins. Like it's their mascot basically. So we should definitely
Right.
go with it.
Yeah. Pathfinder mascot. No, the Skittermanders for Starfinder.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Skittermanders. That's so cool.
They're so freaking adorable.
I'm excited
They're
to
everywhere.
play some Starfinder. I hear some good things about it.
It's pretty good. It's a little bit tough after playing Pathfinder 2 to like
Yeah.
go back to the, 3.75 sort of rules.
Yeah.
Um,
It feels like you're stepping backwards
it's,
almost.
oh yeah, because 2 is just so streamlined. It's such a joy to play.
I love. There's a lot of people online where they're like, it's like Pathfinder Second Edition people trying to convince Fifth Edition players to switch over. It's like you get 3 actions in a turn, and like it's like yes, I do want 3 actions in a turn.
See, we always got the 5th edition folks when we were playing Society at my friendly local game shop.
Yeah.
The 5th edition folks would come into play their Adventure League, and eventually they would, stop being high schoolers, and they would look around at all the other high schoolers and be like, I don't want to hang around with you people. Who are they? Who are the grown-ups over there in that corner? What are they playing?
Yeah.
And then they would, come play Pathfinder with us instead. But they could have just been a local phenomenon.
I know, like, I got into Pathfinder because of my local game store as well. Like, I was in there for Magic cards, probably. And they're all just talking about how, like, 4th edition sucks, why 4th edition sucks, how Pathfinder, like, is the new 3.5, and it just sounded so cool. So I ended up picking up the core rulebook and the bestiary there.
Yeah.
And
I think
then,
I was probably in buying more minis or something.
Yeah. And then I couldn't convince anyone to play with me for a while. And then, like, 2 years later in college, my buddy was like, I really want to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, well, I do have the books for Pathfinder. It's pretty much the same thing.
Oh,
and then,
how about?
yeah, how about we just do this? And it worked out for me. I got to finally dungeon master a game. And, like, my friend gave me, like, a bunch of, like, downloaded books for Pathfinder. And I just like, oh, this one looks good. And I didn't realize that I got myself into a whole campaign until, like, I started playing. I'm like, oh, shit, this is book 1 of 6. Oh, God, what have I done?
Oh, no.
So I didn't even, like, really know what I was doing at first. And I was like, oh, God, this is, like, intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes Pathfinder so successful is that Paizo's like, here, have the books for free. They just know that tabletop nerds will eventually want to get the hardback.
We will spend money on this. Like, it's gonna happen. Like,
yeah,
don't worry.
You give tabletop nerds the rules for free, and they will buy $60 hardback books.
Yeah, you just gotta have it.
Despite the fact they have the rules for free on the internet.
That's been a big reason why, like, I haven't wanted to switch over to, like, 2nd edition. It's like I already have Hero Lab for 1st edition. I have a bunch of the expansions. Like, I've already, like, sunk all this cost into it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do more, or I don't want to. Like, I want to still take advantage of what I've spent. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, all the rules are online for free.
Yeah.
To just play. So. And eventually you're going to expand your collection anyway.
Yeah, you have to have it in paper copy or, like, that special edition. You got to have the special edition.
I have the limited edition playtest Pathfinder 2.
Ooh, that's nice.
Very shiny.
That is very shiny.
Yeah. I got the beautiful deluxe edition. It's one of the few books I kept when I moved across the country.
Oh, my buddy Connor is watching the stream, and he posted, the word drow is of Scottish origin. It's an alternative form of trow, which is a cognate of troll. So drow was used for a wide variety of evil spirits in Scotland.
Aha! So they couldn't copyright it.
Yeah, they couldn't copyright the word drow. The idea of it being a dark elf, maybe they could have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. So the world's a better place for it.
The fantasy world has drow forever.
Except that, like, it might not much longer. There's a lot of, like they're trying to, like, there's a lot of people saying that the drow are racist and stuff like that, and, like, I don't disagree with them. I am
the drow are racist. They're evil.
No. Sorry, like having the drow is racist, not the drow. Like having
Hmm.
us white writers, not me, but like you know what I mean. Like white people creating the drow is racist, and like maybe I think the thing that I don't like is that there's an episode of Community where Ken Jeong paints himself black because he's gonna be a drow elf for a game of D&D, and like, that was taken off of like Netflix and all these people for being racist. It's like for being him being blackface. It was like, no, he's dressed up as an elf. It's not
Yeah,
blackface.
it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit
And we
different.
do have, at least in, in Pathfinder, we have black elves, not drow,
Yes.
who are like
Yeah.
ebony colored.
Right. Yeah.
But we have the elves in the Mwangi Expanse who have a great culture.
That's a big win, I think, for gaming. Is like the new Mwangi Expanse. Everything coming out of that book seems phenomenal. Like I feel like Paizo did like a great job of that book. Like there's a lot of good people saying like how well done that whole book is. I want to get my hands on it one day. It seems very good.
Yeah, they've really come a long way
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
like
I wanted to talk with this
the
earlier.
classic fancy stuff that we saw in like Rise of the Rune Lords to the new
Yeah.
stuff coming out is super inclusive and just very well done.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with how Paizo has sort of leaned in, been like, yeah, we
They've-
want to be inclusive of
Yeah,
everybody.
and they've realized that like Wizard of the Coast isn't going to do that, so they want to give a safe space for those people. And I think that's probably why we've seen a lot of the gore and stuff go down, because like as a dungeon master, me or you, if we decide we want gore in our game, we can add that in very easily. Like that can
Yeah.
be done very easily. Whereas if they're leaving it out of their books, that just makes the book so much more accessible and less of a like I don't want to say like less of a trigger for people, because like I know like there's been a lot of people that's like, oh, I don't want to touch a game with ogres because of the stuff that they are known to do, and like taking that out of the books and letting that each individual play group decide if they want to play with that. I think that's a great way to go. Like there's no reason you need to be that disgusting in a book. But if I want to like, if I know that in my session 0 everyone's okay with that, we're all on board for that, that's what we want to do, we can do that. It just
Right.
makes it such a safer option.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cannibalism in one of the Rise of the Rune Lord books,
Yeah.
and it's like it's gory.
Yeah.
Which the old school gamers like us like were that was what we expected at that time.
Yeah, or
Everyone-
like it was, we had to
You know,
accept it
go
because
kill the
like everyone was
cannibals.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Whereas nowadays, we're expanding, and a lot of people who weren't hardcore fantasy nerds, in the early 2000s, are like cannibals. Excuse me. We're like,
Yeah.
oh yes, I suppose putting cannibals in our books was a little bit problematic.
Yeah, especially if it was like in a demeaning way to like human cultures, like real life human cultures. Like that's where it comes into problems too, where I don't know,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful. Like I don't know, you gotta be respectful of everybody. Like I don't know, it's terrible. Poisonous
Yeah.
battle axe. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think Paizo's done a really good job too of when, because gamers historically have been a pretty homogenous group. When lines are crossed, coming out and saying, "Yeah, that's our bad," we didn't consult with people who would be affected by this.
Not Gary Gygax's son though.
Ah,
That's
Yeah,
that's
that's all.
killing Twitter right now. That guy, jeez.
I saw something on Twitter, and I mostly went, "Oh God, gaming Twitter."
Yeah,
Do I even want to dig down this rabbit hole right now?
yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I just stay out of because like I don't have the mental capacity just to talk about it. It's just like, oh God, this guy is just an idiot. He's definitely gonna fail. There's no way he's gonna be successful, and he's like, we can just forget about him in a couple weeks, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I am on gaming Twitter for all of the good tabletop memes.
there's a lot of
Um, and Jason over at What Would You Do? Or What Do You Do? The podcast one. Ah, so good.
Yeah, I've
Does
met a
such a
lot
good
of.
job of promoting everybody in the community.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of great people that are like that I've met, like that help cross promote each other and encourage each other. I've had a great experience on Twitter with a lot of people. Like I've stayed out of a lot of the drama, which has been really nice, and I don't want to seek it out at all. And like, there's just some great people out there doing some amazing things. Like that's partly like why I started doing this show. Is just like I like talking to people who are in this field because like so many of us are such awesome, creative, wonderful people that I just want to get to know more people. And like you also get to like it's nice to like bust out of my small little piece of the world too. And like you don't it's nice to get to do that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about society play is you get to really get out in the community and talk to other
Yeah.
people who are playing the game. And I found like, especially as a GM, that playing with different people really made me better. Learning how to play
Yes.
with people that I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily have played with. And you get lazy sometimes, when you play
Yeah.
with the same five people every week, you know, you're like, oh yeah, everybody knows that rule. And sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
You've just been playing it wrong the
Well,
whole
that's the thing.
time.
Like for my play group, I taught all of them how to play. So if I was doing it wrong, all of them were doing it wrong, and I never had a chance to improve. So like getting to listen to other people's podcasts, getting to like watch other people's games on Twitch. I haven't done Society, but like obviously that would be uh, like that helps you improve so much as a player, rule wise, as uh, a storyteller, as a person. Even you just get to meet and interact with people. Interacting with new people is probably like the best way to grow as a person. You get to just understand people so much better.
Yeah, I think so.
So there's a trick here. If anyone's ever ends up playing, you have to make sure you memorize these three symbols on this table because this table is going to match the floor in the next room. Um, and
Ah,
and if you step on any of the symbols that aren't these three symbols, you get like lightning bolted. So it's
that's
anvil,
no good.
crossed hammers, I think, and then rings. Um, so
Something. Yeah.
so what's the so yeah? See how this outer ring is all these different
Oh
symbols.
yeah.
So I gotta find the and see these
The anvil.
see this is where the lightning bolts come out of. Is
Oh,
these? Did you see it?
yeah.
There it is. All right.
There's the anvil.
So I can safely step here. You hear a loud click, followed by 11 similar sound clicks throughout the room. Okay, so I think that means I can... A quick save real quick. I think that means I can step on these ones safely now. Yeah, okay. That's what that means.
Nice. All right. So then you have to find the cross axes, hammers.
There it is. It's down at the bottom.
Victory.
Huzzah! Trying to figure this out the first time I played
Nice.
took forever. It was awful. It's like, oh, the
Oh, I
table!
It's one of those things about old games.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, there would be a quest marker,
Yeah.
and you would just follow the quest marker.
Yeah.
These old games are like, you got to figure it out. You can't figure
Yeah.
it out. You can't go anywhere.
Good luck.
Sorry.
And then I think I have to go
Get
back.
good.
Yeah, get good. Good luck. I mean, there was the internet back when this was out, and there was definitely message boards where people talked about this. So
Yeah.
I had to come back in this room. This guy's hammer was like down. Now that I've hit it, it's gone back up. So now I go back, and there's gonna be some stairs present. Huzzah,
Oh my
see?
goodness.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Yeah. So if you ever want a puzzle, this is a good one to give your team. The problem too is that there's a trap down here, and I don't have any rogues in my party, so I just have to be careful.
Oh no.
There's a guy here who got zapped by the trap. See his scroll
His
here.
Scroll.
It's like the trap left me for dead, but it's just as well. Blah blah blah. He keeps talking, but you got zapped by lightning and didn't quite die.
Oh, what a terrible fate.
Ooh, I don't want to get zapped. I think
You're
this.
gonna have to sacrifice a bard to the trap.
I think
right?
this is a trap. I think this square here is the trap, so I'm gonna try to avoid it. Nope. Ooh, fireball.
Oh.
Okay, that's not awful. I can sleep my way through that. Hopefully it's just a one-time trap. Sometimes the traps are like multiple, where they'll just keep
Right.
going. It's like, no, don't do it. All
Depends on
right.
what the reset is.
So this is like a forge that used to be like lava used to pour through here. So this whole dwarven
Mhm.
place is like cursed right now because there's like a lich in the other room doing shit. It's a good place to
As
stop.
liches
As liches
do.
do, right? There's like a
You know.
portal. There's like a portal to like the negative plane of energy through here, and that he's trying to take advantage of, and so I have to go kill him. So I can't wait to do that. I'll do that next week. It'll be a lot of fun. Good times.
I let one of my players in my Extinction Curse game be a lich because
Ooh,
I have 5 players in that game because one of my players had a really wonky work schedule, and so I told him, as long as you come up with a good story for where your character pops off to every week, like we'll just get a 5th player, and when you have to work, you get sucked through a portal to some random place, and you have to tell us where you went and
oh,
how
cool,
you justified, getting as much experience to loot as everybody else.
nice.
Um, so one week, another player had to work, and so I gave her the same offer, and she got sucked to. She was already a necromancer, and she got sucked away to the negative energy plane. Um, and we had a little bit of a story for her, but she was being really like coy with the other characters about it and where she had been. And one of them's like, what wondered aloud if she got healed by negative energy. She's like, "Can I? Can I get healed by negative energy?" And I said, "Sure. You've been on the negative energy plane for like a year in character. Why not?" And then after the game, we sat down and powwowed like, okay, what can we give you? And they were level 13.
Yeah, it's a
So
pretty beefy level.
instead of taking level 13, she got a lich template.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
Uh,
cool. My buddy
so much
Connor,
fun.
and we have a side game going. I call it Galericon because it's like Eric's Galarian. So I've like changed
Uh,
things in Galarian. He
mhm.
wants his character is thinking about becoming a Lich one day. So like I can't wait to like play that out. I hope we get back to it. It's like I don't know. Players becoming Lich is the coolest thing in the world to me. I think it's just like yes, do it. Let's do it. Become super evil. Like
You're
huzzah!
evil
Yeah,
now.
you're evil now.
You
Like
have to do evil things to
yeah,
become a lich.
his character's
Uh,
already evil. Like his alignment's already evil. He already does like some terrible things, and he plays. He's a gnome. His nickname is Bert. And he loves to like destroy things, and it's just the coolest thing. He does such a good job. He talks like Kermit the Frog. It's one of my favorite characters. And he's thinking of becoming a lich one
well,
day. So it's just I can't wait.
evil done well is great.
Yes, yes, exactly. Well, it's 9:30, so I think we're gonna call it there. So, Nix, thank you so much for coming out. It was great getting to
Yeah.
know you. Great talking. I had a blast tonight. I think this is probably one of the nights where I've talked about Icewind Dale the least. So, because we had such great conversation the whole time. So yeah, thank you so much. Everyone in the chat, thanks so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Good night, everybody.
Night, folks.